Right now, something is watching us. Not metaphorically, not poetically, literally. And the most terrifying part isn't that we can't see it. The most terrifying part is that we already sent it a map showing exactly where we live. By the end of this video, you're going to understand what that means, and I promise you, once you hear it, you won't be able to unsee it. But first, quick question. Where are you watching this right now? Drop it in the comments, your city, your country, whatever. Because in about 8 minutes, you might be looking at that same sky a little differently. Now, let's go back to the beginning. There are more stars in the observable universe than there are grains of sand on every beach on Earth combined. That number is so large it stops meaning anything to the human brain. And we now know that most of those stars have planets. Billions of those planets sit at exactly the right distance from their star for liquid water to exist. The same ingredient that started life on Earth. The same ingredient flowing through your veins right now. The universe has had almost 14 billion years for life to evolve on those worlds, to develop intelligence, to build cities, to look up at their sky the same way we look up at ours. So here's the question that has haunted scientists for decades. Where is everyone? This is called the Fermi paradox, and it sounds like a simple question, but the deeper you go, the more disturbing it becomes. Because we haven't just casually glanced at the sky and shrugged, we've been listening hard. Since the 1960s, massive radio telescopes have been scanning the cosmos around the clock, searching for any signal, any pattern, any whisper of intelligence from out there. 60 years of searching. Total silence. Not one confirmed signal, not one repeating pattern, not one sign that anyone else exists in a universe containing 2 trillion galaxies. And here's where it starts to get uncomfortable. There's a star about 1,200 light years away called Tabby's star, and it does something no star should do. Its brightness drops, suddenly, irregularly, by up to 22%. To put that in perspective, if Jupiter passed in front of our sun, it would only block about 1% of the light. Something near Tabby's star is blocking 22 times that amount. Astronomers were so baffled that one of the first explanations seriously considered was a megastructure, something built, something engineered on a scale we can barely imagine. That idea was eventually set aside, but it was never fully ruled out. And then, in 2017, something else happened. Astronomers detected an object passing through our solar system. That alone was unusual, but what made it truly strange was its shape. Long, flat, almost like a sail. And it was accelerating, not slowing down as it moved away from the sun, speeding up with no visible jets, no tail, no obvious explanation. Most scientists eventually concluded it was a natural object we hadn't seen before. But Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb looked at the data and said something that shook the scientific community. He said it was consistent with a light sail, a thin, reflective sheet designed to catch the pressure of starlight for propulsion. In other words, a spacecraft. The object left our solar system before we could study it properly. Gone forever. And we still don't know what it was. Now stack that against something else. In 1977, a radio telescope in Ohio detected a signal so unusual that the astronomer reviewing the data grabbed a red pen and wrote one word next to it in the margin. Wow. It was narrow band, it was powerful, it came from deep space. It had every single characteristic that scientists said an artificial transmission would have. It was exactly what we had been searching for. And then it vanished, never repeated, never explained. We've been pointing telescopes at that exact region of sky ever since. Nothing. So now you have a universe that should, by every mathematical calculation, be full of civilizations. You have a star behaving in ways physics struggles to explain. You have an interstellar object with bizarre acceleration and an unusual shape.
You have a signal so perfect it made a scientist write "wow" in the margins, and you have 60 years of silence everywhere else. Something doesn't add up, and the explanations scientists have come up with to resolve that contradiction are not comforting. One possibility is called the Great Filter. The idea is simple and brutal. Somewhere between basic chemistry and a spacefaring civilization, there is a step so difficult, so unlikely, that almost nothing gets through it. Maybe that filter is behind us. Maybe the jump from non-living chemistry to the first self-replicating molecule is so improbable that it almost never happens, and Earth just got extraordinarily lucky. If the filter is behind us, we're fine. We already passed the hard part. But maybe the filter is ahead. Maybe every civilization that reaches our level of technology eventually develops something it cannot control. A weapon, a pathogen, an artificial intelligence with goals that don't include keeping humans alive. Maybe the window between developing these tools and being destroyed by them is very short. Maybe that's why the galaxy is silent. Not because life never started, because it never made it through. And that leads us to the most unsettling theory of all, the one that reframes everything, the one that explains not just the silence, but why that silence might be the most important warning our species has ever received. We'll get there in a moment.
Imagine a forest at night, complete darkness. You can't see more than a few feet in any direction. You don't know who else is in that forest. You don't know how many. You don't know their intentions. Now ask yourself, honestly, would you call out? Would you announce your location to every unknown presence hiding in the dark? This is called the dark forest theory, and it might be the answer to everything. The logic goes like this. The universe is enormous. Resources are finite, and you can never fully know the intentions of another civilization before it's too late. So the only rational strategy for any intelligent species that wants to survive is to stay completely silent. Never broadcast, never respond, never reveal yourself. Because any civilization that announces its location is taking a gamble it cannot afford to lose. And here's where it becomes personal. We didn't stay silent. For the past 100 years, radio signals from Earth have been expanding outward into space at the speed of light. Our television broadcasts, our radar systems, our military communications, a growing bubble of human noise spreading through the galaxy. But we didn't stop there. In 1974, we deliberately aimed the most powerful radio telescope on Earth at a cluster of 300,000 stars and transmitted a message, on purpose, a beacon. Here we are. We launched physical objects into interstellar space with golden plaques attached, plaques engraved with diagrams of human anatomy and a precise map showing exactly where Earth is located in the galaxy. Those objects have now left our solar system. They are drifting into deep space right now, today, as you watch this. We sent an invitation into the dark forest. And if the dark forest theory is correct, we didn't just take a risk. We made the single most dangerous decision in the history of our species, without a vote, without a global debate, without most people on Earth even knowing it happened. The universe isn't silent because there's nothing out there. The universe is silent because everyone else already learned what we haven't. That you don't make noise in the dark. That you don't hand your coordinates to strangers. That the silence isn't emptiness. It's strategy. And right now, we are the only ones making sound. Whether that matters, whether anything hurt us, whether the forest is actually dangerous or completely empty, we genuinely do not know. That uncertainty is the most honest answer science can give you. But the next time you look up at a clear night sky and you see how vast and dark and quiet it is, remember this. The silence isn't nothing. It's a choice. And we didn't make it.